Hello, internet friends. Welcome back once again. Thank you all so very much for joining me here today. I have another training video for you, and before we get into it, I want to address something that was brought up to me by a friend after he watched my last video, which was really long, and he said, "You didn't even talk about the meat." And maybe I wasn't clear enough that my intention was never to... I didn't just ramble through and forget to talk about the meat. That was never the purpose of that video. I wanted to talk about my thoughts and the place that I had gotten down to and the changes I had made going into the meet. I thought that would provide more background kind of for how the meet reflection and everything after the fact played into just how it felt and how it changed my experience for it. So this is still not a meet related video. When I got back, it was really difficult for me to get caught up. I'm still taking my orchestration class. I had homework that I needed to finish up. I had all my clients that were very understanding while I was down in Atlanta for the 5 days I was down there, and were very patient with me while I was trying to get caught up in the travel and everything. So then I ran into a little bit of an issue with ripping the video of my attempts from the stream, and I do want to send a thank you and a shout out to the IPF overlord himself, Alexander Kang, who was kind enough. I asked him what program he uses to download those streams so that he can get the lifts from them, because I'm not as internet savvy as some may believe, and he ended up just cutting a video of my attempts for me. And so I'm going to link in the description down below if you just want to see just the raw kind of footage of the attempts, and for anybody who's curious and didn't have a chance to look at those or watch the stream themselves. At 205 body weight, I squatted 644, bench 374, and then took a very conservative second attempt on my deadlift, 705, and was not able to pull the 743rd that we were very convinced I had. But I do have a meet reflection video coming up where I want to go more into depth about how the meet went after you guys get a chance to view those attempts. So I'll link Alex's video down in the description below, and then I'm also going to make a more condensed version of it, just showing the lifts themselves without the commentary, though I did appreciate the commentary. The event was awesome. The stream was very helpful, and I have some different thoughts on the primetime lifting. Overall, I think it did benefit me in some ways, and it hindered me in some other ways, but I was a great experience, and I have many people to thank, which is why I want to make sure that I get kind of my meet recap video up with all of the thoughts about that and not other things. But what you're watching right now is kind of the week 0 of this next prep that we have me doing. This was before my coaches gave me any other programming yet. They told me to kind of take a week to do whatever I wanted, and so there are some little bit different things that you're going to see happening here. Largely the fact that I was not wearing my SBD knee sleeves, that I was wearing no belt, and just I did that intentionally to keep myself from going a little too hyphy. We felt like my squat had more in the tank, and my bench, I always feel like I can press more than I do at a meet. It's a matter of pressing it and staying within the standards, because as the weight goes heavier, I'm more likely to make a stupid mistake, like heaving really hard off my chest, or lifting my butt off the bench, or moving my head. In the USAPL, that's a really big deal. So those are some things and some considerations to work on in this next cycle. But I've got a lot of videos that I'm planning and that I'm kind of in the works on. I need to definitely resettle myself and focus on one thing at a time, which is why I'm doing this. And I may upload the short lift meet video before this goes up, just for the sake of keeping things in kind of a chronological order. So maybe you're watching this after that, maybe you're watching it before. Doesn't matter. We're going to talk a little bit about a concept that I'm going to be trying to implement more, and something that I've been kind of implementing throughout the last few weeks. Anybody who watched that 45-minute video, bless you for sticking through that with me, and hopefully I hope that you found it interesting and weren't just upset that I didn't talk about the meet the whole time. But I think that it was very important for me to kind of share that journey And in social media right now, it is the tendency to try and increase the impressiveness of your persona. I think by kind of just showing the good points, and people are getting more open about it. A lot of the big YouTubers now, it used to be were more about informative type things, and now it's more kind of about inside looks of people's lives and more of a vlogging type focus where and maybe this is just my opinion, where the idea of what people are more drawn to is a little bit less about the ideas that someone has and more about their life itself. And maybe it's kind of connected to like the trend of reality TV in our society. Maybe I'm overanalyzing that. I tend to do that a lot, but I don't have anything against it. It's not necessarily what interests me, which is why my videos are still the way that they are. And I kind of embrace my boring self, maybe too much in terms of marketing term, but that's I guess this is just what I am, and that's how I approach things. But the concept I want to talk about is really going to be the focus of this next training block for us, and it is largely the idea of working on effective instead of effectiveness over simple efficiency. A lot of the times you would try to, when you think about the best use of your time, we tend to think of things in terms of efficiency. How can I get the most done in the shortest amount of time? Or use of efficiency in terms of can I, using the least amount of time available in general to get something across. People have talked about that with mobility, saying you should do the least that you need, and I do agree that you shouldn't be intentionally excessive with the approach that you're taking. But I think that it is also important to remember that efficiency is only ideal if you're not sacrificing the effectiveness of what you're doing. It is much better in a day to do one thing well with your best effort and your most focused attention and have that thing be done to a high standard than to do many things and try to cram all of them in and have none of them really get that focus and attention. And most people, I truly believe, can't handle multitasking the way that they think they can. I know I certainly cannot. And I need and have needed for this past year of learning and growing. One of my biggest takeaways from that experience has been the importance of reducing the amount of things that I'm trying to do so that I can put more focus into the things that I deem to have the highest level of priority in my life. I think that is such a large part of excellence. And we've talked about this before, but the idea that the pursuit of excellence or trying to become a high-level performer at the highest level in your whatever your goals are, whether it's your sport or your craft, I suppose, it is truly an imbalanced lifestyle. It is something where you accept that imbalance, and it doesn't mean you have to live without wellness and personal health within your mind and your body. It doesn't mean you have to just kill yourself all the time, for one thing, but it also eliminates your ability to pursue a truly balanced lifestyle, because every time you are trying to give time, attention, and focus to something that is not your main goal, your main pursuit, it is, just by the very nature of time being a limited factor, removing some of the focus from that main thing. And so depending on the quality of your effectiveness in some of these things, you may be able to have more priorities depending on how much work it takes you to really improve this one thing. You may have room for a second thing, but usually even that second thing has to be approached with a lower level of expected outcome. You can't. It is very difficult for someone to become world class at more than one thing. It's just the nature of specialization. the more things you add, the less it takes away. The old saying, jack of all trades, master of none, and just the idea that your incredible specificity towards what you are trying to be your absolute best at becomes necessary. And I don't think that's the truth for everyone. I don't think that everyone needs to be world class at something. But when that is your idea, especially in sport, it demands of you the kind of single-minded focus of just improving that one thing at the potential expense of other things, and then focus on your mental health and resilience and wellness. The idea of maintaining relationships with other people, be they friends or family or loved ones in any other capacity. But it really does kind of bring about the idea of putting enough time and energy and focus into the one thing you need to accomplish that day to do it well and to the best of your ability, and to really receive the growth that comes from that sort of attention to detail and focus, instead of splitting your focus and trying to be more efficient by getting more things done. That's kind of it. That's kind of what I really wanted to get across. And again, you're seeing this footage. None of this was programmed by my coaches. This was all just kind of me going in and trying not to go too hyphy. I saw a lot of people after the meet going in and attempting post-meet PRs, which I don't think there's anything wrong with that, but I know personally I have a lot of things that I wanted to work on from the meet, a lot of improvements to make. I learned a lot from the experience, and I get really motivated and excited moving forward, and so I wanted to use that kind of wave of motivation to start working on progressing again and not worry so much about testing, because I feel like what we did, I could be happy with, and I could walk away and feel satisfied with that performance, mostly because I learned enough that I feel like we're going to bring an even better one the next time. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, found it helpful. Really hammering away that point. If you have a lot of things you're interested in, try your best to, at least in the way that you approach them from a day-to-day basis, find the one that's the most important. Put your best effort into that. Once you do enough and get that finished, then move on to the next thing. Don't try to split your focus into a lot of things. Very few people can do that successfully. And if you believe you're one of those people, try to act like you're not, and you may find yourself more successful as a result of that. So once again, thank you very much. I have a lot coming out very soon, so for those of you who have been patient with me and stuck throughout this entire process, I hope that you will be surely rewarded for your trust and your faith in what we can do together. So thanks again, and I will talk to you very soon. Have a great day. Bye.